Welcome to No Stats, where we call it how we see it.
We back again with another one.
Yes, sir. You already know, bro. And before we jump into this next NFL season prediction, make sure y'all like, share, comment. All comments welcome. As always, good, bad, ugly. Hit the bell, subscribe, so
We
you can
need it
stay in
all.
tune for the rest of these NFL team season previews and predictions. And when we get into the NBA and we get into fantasy football, up into the preseason and the regular season. So make sure you stand in tune, hit that bell, and we're going to keep giving y'all and delivering this content.
Don't hold back, baby. We need everything.
Watch the handle, it takes skill. We gotta run it back. We in the field, and you said it Jason Jack. You in your field, we looking for the facts. Let's keep it real, yeah, we talking no stats. Yeah, we talking no stats. Yeah, we talking no stats.
Today, bro, we move divisions, right? We wrap up with the AFC South, and we move right into the NFC South. Starting with the team that finished last place in a division, but was only a game out of first place, right? That division was so tight last year. The Buccaneers won it with 8 wins, was it, I believe, last year?
8 wins.
So we start with the Atlanta Falcons, right? So we're in the ATL. Finished 7-10 last year. We'll get into all of that, what they did last year, the additions, the key losses. But this is an interesting team, bro, because they're in a pattern where it can be boom or bust. A lot of question marks, but a lot of talent. They did a lot this offseason. So let's jump in. See what we
I feel
got
like a
and see
lot
what
of
we like.
teams is in the same situation. I think with the Atlanta Falcons, this is another team that has a quarterback. They have all the pieces around them, but it's all on the quarterback. Like what type of ceiling is this quarterback Desmond Ridder gonna have this season? Because they're only gonna go as far as he can go. He has some nice weapons around him, bro. They have a great running back tandem with TA, and you draft Bijan Robinson. You still got Cordell Patterson. This team got some weapons, man.
They do, bro. They definitely do. And they added some nice weapons to the
Yes.
already existing core. But like I said, last season they missed the playoffs, of course. I think exceeded a lot of people's expectation getting 7 wins. Running game was nice. Offensive line, I think, is very underrated. They're definitely in the top half of the league, I think, offensive line wise, and running game wise. Right? They were kind of exciting. They move on for Marcus Mariota. They lose Casey Hayward, so they kind of get younger with quarterback and cornerback. They lose one of their wide receivers. They lose two cornerbacks, a receiver, or two receivers, two cornerbacks, and Marcus Mariota, then a linebacker in there, right? But they bring in Bijan Robinson, who was with the 12th pick, and I think shocked a lot of people because a lot of people had Bijan kind of falling or didn't think that the Falcons should take him, right? Because they got Tyler Algier. They have Cordell Patterson. They were their run game was, like I said, in that top 15, top 10 range. So you add another running back, but they keep saying, Arthur Smith keeps saying, he's not. Don't think of him as a running back. Think of him as a weapon. They're gonna move him around and play him everywhere. So we'll see what they do with Bijan. Definitely has the capability to be in a big play offensive player for this Falcons team. They also draft offensive tackle Matthew Barragaron. Am I saying that right?
Bergeron. We just gonna call him
Bergeron. All right,
Bourbon
I like it.
sauce.
All right, Bourbon Sauce. Matthew Bourbon Sauce from Syracuse. They draft him from Syracuse, right, to add to that already, impressive offensive line. And then they just add dudes, bro. Like the Falcons, they get rid of Marcus Mariota. They have a quarterback on a rookie contract, right? So they got some money to throw around. They go grab Bud Dupree to add some pressure to that defensive line. They go get Jesse Bates, a guy that that's been to a Super Bowl playing high level safety ball. Go
Where
ahead,
you
say
from,
it.
bro? Where
Hey,
you
go ahead,
from?
say it.
Yeah,
He's
he's from the boys. I'm surprised that man threw the hat on for this.
they go get a guy like Jesse Bates that come over from Cincinnati, right? Who's had success in recent years, right? So he could bring some of that pedigree, some of that culture over, make some big plays for them in that secondary and that back end. They go get Jonnu Smith, who's shown flashes to be a really good tight end, to be aside a guy like Kyle Pitts, who's just waiting to break through. Kyle Pitts is so damn talented. I mean, he was drafted before Jamar Chase. That's how talented Kyle Pitts and the potential that Kyle Pitts has. They go get Jeff Okudah from the Lions, who's another guy who was drafted really high, has some injuries, but the potential is there. Right, this whole team is so boom or bust. But you put him on the other side of AJ Terrell, and if both of those guys can produce, that's a really nice 1-2 punch. Produce like they were expected to coming out of college. They go get Calais Campbell from Baltimore, who's been just the definition of solid consistency, dog football, stopping the run. Calais Campbell's been doing it at a high level for so long, bro. They get Tyler Heineke, right? It's an insurance plan, a backup quarterback.
I love the insurance policy, man. I love it.
Yeah, they went straight to State Farm, took out an insurance plan. Tyler Heineke came with it. Put him behind Desmond Ridder, just in case, but also to teach him, show him some things. Tyler Heineke has played a playoff game and got a lot of big games under his belt. They had 2 cornerbacks and Mike Hughes from Detroit, if I'm not mistaken. And then Trey Flowers, who's also former Bengal.
Guy.
Yeah, also from a Bengal who's a tall corner, right? Who can line up with some tight ends. I think Trey Flowers like 6'3", 6'4", so has some length. Should be able to help. And then they go get 2 receivers to help out the young quarterback, and Mac Hollins and Scotty Miller. I didn't want to go through all of them, but I think everybody that's on this key additions list, bro, is really a key addition.
It definitely
they spent
is,
some money, bro. They spent some money, man.
Think about their wide receiving core real quick. Like, when you got Kyle Pitts, you already got Drake London, but then you add Scotty Miller, who's a fast guy that could be in the slot, was one of Brady's favorite guys in Tampa, and then Matt Hollins, who's on the Raiders, right?
Making big plays last year.
Not bad, not bad at all. And then
like balls.
Johnny Smith, Jonnu Smith, however you say it.
Jonnu.
Bro, he's a solid tight end, man. Like, this is what I said in the beginning. Like, this is all on Desmond Ridder. Like, he had the options. They got the running game. They fucking moved so many pieces around on their defensive side of the ball outside of just the players. They got a new offensive line, outside linebacker coach. They got a new defensive lineman coach. Like, this is a team that's been moving things around, and you sign guys like Jesse Bates to bolster that defense up. Bro, sky's the limit for this Atlanta team, man.
Bro, it's very boom or bust, bro. Like, this is a team that, could go both ways, right? Because the quarterback position is so important, and it's Desmond Ridder, and you hope he does well, right? He has some, I won't say momentum. What's the word I'm looking for? Coming out of Cincinnati, the hype wasn't as big, right? University of Cincinnati had that big run. So you don't really know what's there. It's a big question mark. Is he good? Is he not? What can he really do? But if he has some talent, bro, I think they could win this division. And I told you that. Remember, I was on that Carolina bandwagon for a little bit because I like Frank Wright. And I like what they did in free agency as well. And we'll get to them there in this division as well. But this Falcons team, man, they add so many pieces. But they're so young. I don't know about – I need to see if Arthur Smith can stay consistent. The offensive coordinator and the new defensive coordinator, can they gel quick enough? Because this is a lot of new pieces. A lot of new pieces that need to learn new schemes. It needs to click. It needs to be that perfect fit. It's not like NBA. You can't just throw players on a team and expect them to just figure it out.
In those situations, that shit – sometimes doesn't even add up the part. And I think also too, what's key with the Falcons is that they play in this weak ass division. You got a Saints team that's they're going forward with Derek Carr, so they have to figure things out going forward. I got a couple players coming back from injury, so they got to get some time to get their foot in the door. Carolina, who's they're great. I'm not gonna say great, they're good, but they have a young quarterback. And their young quarterback gonna be able to come in and make plays immediately. And then you got
DJ Moore.
My personal favorite team in the division, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who still have veterans. They got a guy like Baker Mayfield. We're not gonna make this about the Buccaneers. I'm gonna say that for the Bucks take, but they're another team that can only win 4 games if I'm being real. So I think they have a little bit of
Yeah, no,
time to
absolutely.
like grow to get things together, because it's not, they don't have a pulverizer in this division. This division title could literally go to any 4 of these teams, bro.
Absolutely, bro. And if I'm a Falcons fan, right? Realistically, I want to see Desmond Ridder take a step. I want to see flashes. You know, the Falcons organization is doing the right thing by putting the pieces around them, making sure that defense isn't giving up points quickly. So Desmond Ridder's out there on the field so much. You know, giving him some extra receivers, making sure the offensive line is staying intact, giving him weapons. They're putting everything there for him. I want to see how the offensive scheme works. You know, when he got in the game last, you know, started a couple games last season, he looked okay. You know, but we're gonna see. But like you said, this division, if they can win this division, because it can be won with 8-9 wins like last year, and get into a playoff situation, right? And we're not saying go to a Super Bowl or NFC Championship, but that's a valuable experience for a guy like Desmond Ridder. You know, put all these pieces around him, and that gives you kind of a foundation to go from, right? If you find out if you have your guy, but very boom or bust. I'm excited to watch the Falcons. If I had to make a bet in this division, a little sneak peek. I know we just jumping into it, but I would put my money on the Falcons. I think the value's there. And I mean, look at those additions, bro. I mean,
I like it, man.
they
And
went
the
out there and
Falcons,
spent their
shout
money.
out to the Falcons for, you know, showing that they trust Desmond Ritter. You know, they're gonna give him the keys.
Yeah.
They're gonna,
And-
how far can you take us? And this could be
Right.
magical,
And-
man.
Exactly, bro. And I mean, you had Marcus Mariota last year. You won 7 games. I mean, it's not a huge drop. Like, you didn't have a top 15, maybe not even a top 20. I'm not gonna say maybe not a top 20 quarterback, right? Marcus Mariota went to Philly and got a backup quarterback role. So you didn't even have a starting quarterback technically last year, a starting caliber quarterback, that is. So the drop may not be that bad, and that's why you'll see the record prediction not show that too much. But we're gonna jump right into that to see what we got them at, bro.
Let's see what we got. What the no stats record looking like?
So last year, as mentioned, 7-10. Finished last in the division, but tied for second in the game out of first. So we jump right in week 1. They're at home opener against the Panthers. 2 young quarterbacks. Desmond Ridder has a little more experience. I'm giving the Falcons the nod here at home, like Frank Wright, as I mentioned. But I just think in Atlanta, opening day, with these pieces that they have, they can be very exciting. I think Falcons fans are going to be excited. I think they get that win in Atlanta. Then they stay home, no travel. They play the Packers, another team with a new quarterback who also got some play time last year, right? But they're trying to figure things out. They got a young core offensively: Christian Watkins, Romeo Doubs, Jordan Love, the new tight end. I'm drawing a blank. Luce Musgrave, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that the Falcons going to pull that off. That's going to be a good game. It could go either way, but I'm giving the Falcons the nod there at home because the next 2 games is going to get brutal because they have to go to Detroit, which I think Detroit is just a better team, right? We seen the way they ended the season last year, and there's a lot of hype around this Lions team. And then they go to Jacksonville, who we just wrapped up on, who's going to be explosive offensively when they get Calvin Ridley back, and a defense that looks to improve. So, first 4 weeks, they go 2-2. NFL, kind of did them some favors with those 2 home games, so I gave them the wins there. What you think about those first 4 games, brother?
I like it. It makes sense. I'm a little skeptical about week 2 versus the Packers. I know the Packers done lost over the last 2 years. They've lost Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers, but they still have that dynamic running back duo, Aaron Jones and the big guy AJ Dillon. I think Jordan Love is gonna come in and he's gonna be ready. I still like Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs. And we were talking about still a veteran defensive side of the ball.
Jair Alexander.
I think the Packers could be a little iffy. I think that's going to be a very tough game, but they're at home. They're going to be riding that season opener win versus the Panthers. So, who knows? But it's only one I'm a little skeptical.
Yeah, no, same. Because I mean, Matt LaFleur has had winning records, and he has had Aaron Rodgers to go along with that. And I don't think Jordan Love will be that. I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be suitable for that offense, and he's familiar with the offense. But I just think this Falcons team is going to fill themselves a little bit. And I think they can pull that. Like I said, the home field advantage is giving me a nod coming off of a win. So I'm going to rock out there. But jumping into the next 4 weeks, week 5, they're home. Week 5 and 6, they're home against two teams that's very winnable games. The NFL did the Falcons a favor with this schedule. So you're home weeks 5 and week 6 against the Texans team, who new coach, new quarterback, trying to figure it out. Bad record last year. That's why they got the second pick, and was able to trade up to get the third pick. So I think that's a win, right? You're more solid. You have more of a foundation there. Then the Commanders are another team with quarterback questions, and Sam Howell. You're at home. I think that's another W. Then you go on the road 2 games.
Oh my God, stuff you should have. Oh my God.
Yeah,
The
he's a
Bucks
Bears fan.
have a win. Oh my God.
It's not a few, so soak this up. It's not a lot of me, so soak this up. You're a Buccaneers fan, but I got them going on the road, bro. On the road, division game, on the road. I think Tampa will pull this one off. I think, this will be one of those Baker does have about a game or 2 games where he just plays well for some reason, figure some things out. And I think this will be one of those games in Tampa, and the Falcons to take a loss. Then they have to travel again to Tennessee. Just picked up DeAndre Hopkins, right? Derrick Henry, Mike Vrabel. I think ultimately they'll be out-coached, and that Titans defense will be able to, that front 7 with Jeffrey Simmons and them boys, be able to get some pressure, and they'll pull that win out. Not too much of an exciting game, but they'll win that game. Then they come back home and they play the Vikings. I think the Vikings are a better team. They have a better quarterback, Justin Jefferson. I don't think offensively they'll be able to keep up. So I can see that. I can see some points being scored in this game because the Vikings defense is not like that. But they won't be able to keep up. And then week 10 at Arizona, that's a W. I don't think Kyler Murray will be back. And Arizona has a real good chance to get the first pick. We'll get into them. But going into the bye week, what's that? 5-5? 500?
That's not too bad at all, man, for this Falcons team. And I think at 5-5, they might could be at the top of the division. I say Saints might be 6-3 at that time. So you don't know.
Agreed, bro.
Unless my Bucks is 5-2.
Oh gosh. Then we jump into week 12. They home, right? They get 2 weeks to prepare for the Saints. Home. I think that'll be a big game. Like you're saying, if the Saints are around 6-4, this is a big game. Maybe they win this, they can take control of the division temporarily. So I have that being a big game, and just the Falcons squeaking out a win there, maybe by a field goal. Young Waku for the win. Week 13, travel to New York to the Jets. I think that Jets defense is young, but they'll be able to pull that out. Aaron Rodgers and the boys that get the win there. Then they're home against the Bucks. There's no way the Bucks win in 2 games against anybody. So they'll get that dub and they head back home. Then I have 2 games, week 15, week 16, right? Tough games. Question marks at quarterbacks, but coaching really came into play here for me. I think I had them beating the Panthers week 1. I think at the Panthers, I'm splitting the division here, right? Because the division is going to be so close. All these teams are young. There's question marks everywhere. So on the road at Carolina, have them taking an L. And then at home against the Colts. Could be a win here, but I think the Colts have a lot of pieces in place too. Jonathan Taylor, that offensive line with Quentin Nelson, Shaq Leonard, maybe Anthony Richardson is playing really well, or maybe Gardner Minshew. You never know. So I have the Colts winning this one. Then they're at Chicago, W. Then they finish the season off at the Saints, which could very well be for the division crown. And I think that's going to be a really good game. I have it as a loss right now because I think in New Orleans in that dome, it's going to be rocking, and I'm giving Derek Carr the nod. So
and them
8 and 9
fans is hungry, man.
Yeah, 8 and 9 finishing the season. Before we jump into what we would change, what you think about the back end of that schedule?
I think you hit the nail on the head with everything. I think they split everything within the division, based on the teams and the competition. And I think that the only one that can go either or, I think, is maybe that Bears down there. Who knows what they'll be playing like? Because I think a lot of people are sleeping on Chicago. You know what I'm saying? I think the signing of what's the receiver? Then they get DJ Moore. And I think Justin Fields, just like how you want to see Desmond Ridder take that step, I think it's time for Justin Fields to take that step. He had a phenomenal season last year, but now it's trying to say, like, we know your legs work, but how does that arm work within that pocket? Can you throw on the run and stuff like that? So who knows what the Bears would be like in Week 17, what they'll be playing for. But then I feel like you hit the nail on the head with everything.
Yeah, bro. So, I mean, 8 and 9, and we might as well jump right in before I even say this because I was going to talk about that Week 16 matchup. As always, I need 1, 2, if you have two games where wins can become losses or losses can become wins. Let me know what you're thinking.
So I got mine. I spoke on the Packers one. I think the Packers one is big for me. Week 2 versus Green Bay. But the other one that stands out to me a little bit here is that Week 18 against the Saints. Like you said, it could be a division crown on the line. Who knows how maybe that Week 12 game could go either or with these teams right here. But based on our information and how we got these teams finishing, these could be the two teams that's actually battling for this crown. So I think that Week 18, the Falcons could get it done on the road. But those two games specifically, Week 2 versus the Packers and Week 18 at the Saints.
Okay, yeah. We spoke on Week 2. Week 16, I think maybe they could beat the Colts, right? Depending on the state of the Colts at the time with a new head coach, new quarterback. Let's see how that goes. But taking a step back, right after I went through the whole schedule, I'm looking at their home games, right? And that's 4-1, 5-1, 6-1, 6-2 at home. The Falcons haven't been a really strong team at home. 6-2 seems a little too good to be true. So I'm just looking for a loss in those home games. And I'm thinking maybe the Packers, as we mentioned, or the Commanders.
I know that was gonna be my third one, man.
Yeah, I know the Commanders don't really scare nobody. But they do have Chase Young. They have a defense that is gritty. Ron Rivera is a really good coach, a proven coach in this league that can win tight ball games. They have a running back committee. They got the guy from Alabama. I'm drawing a blank on his name.
I know they got Gibson.
Yes, they have Antonio Gibson. But the guy from Alabama, they trying to pull him in. Drawing a blank on his name. He had that robbery incident, got shot, but came back. Yeah. But they also have receivers, right? They got Scary Terry, they got Terry McLaurin, who's a beast, Jahad Dotson, who played really well. So they're riding on Sam Howell too, and we'll get into the Commanders, but that can be a win because they're coming in with a team that, this was the team that gave the Eagles their first loss last year. The team that went to the Super Bowl.
And they play in that gritty-ass division anyway, so
exactly. So they can scratch a win. They can scratch a win out. So, I'm going to throw that one out. But 8 and 9, I think is around the area because they could win. If they lost that game as the Commanders, they could win the game against the Colts or win the game at Carolina and sweep the Panthers. So, I think right around that ballpark. Not too much more. maybe 8-9 wins the division. Maybe they finish second place, but it'll be, a game in the right direction.
And we could be giving them, you know what I'm saying? This could be a 6-win ball club.
It
Atlanta
could,
Falcons fans, please let us know in the comments what you think.
Yeah.
We give too much love or not enough? Are we talking about a 9-win? But now we're talking about 9-8. I'm going to leave it at that.